Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546, and we got the schedule for 2025. We've been waiting for it. We've seen a couple of different variations of the schedule, and it seems like the first 4 weeks have been pretty much out there since everything got started. Now, week one. Now let's just go through these first 4 weeks, or let's just go through these game by game, and maybe I'll give my prediction, and then we'll head back to the first 4 weeks. But the Commanders. Week one, NFC Championship Commanders. Now, I do think the Commanders are going to take a tiny step back this year because I just don't see them being that effective on fourth down as they were last year. And when you really look at their team, I don't look at their team and say, like, this team is eons above what the Giants are. Yeah, they brought in Tunsil. Yeah, they brought in Connerly. But just because Connerly did pretty well against Carter in a college game doesn't mean he's going to do the same thing in the NFL. And he's got to block Brian Burns, and he's got to block Thibodeau. He's a rookie. So there are a lot of ways that I could see us exploiting that team. But make no bones about it, it's going to be about Jaden Daniels and if we can slow him down. So let's just go through it. Just give win losses, and we'll pack it up at the end. Now, Washington, I'm going to give us a W to start. Maybe I should have had a pen or paper, but a W to start, and I'll go ahead and type this out as I do it. So W for Washington. Cowboys, week two. Because like these wins have to come for something. I just can't see this Giants team winning 2-3 games again. I can't only give us the wins that are the games that we're going to be the favorite, because that just never goes that way. So Dallas week two. So we start off on the road against Washington, which isn't too far, but then we have to go back to New Jersey and then over to Dallas. And Dallas they have that advantage because they're on the other side of the country. So we're heading over to Dallas next week. And again, this is another team that I don't see now that we're upgrading and we've reached this point on defense. I don't see this team as a team that's just much, much better than us. And I see a lot of splitting going on, to be honest with you. And I'm thinking that we're going to start off, I know I'm crazy, but I think we'll start off 2-0. And then we come back to planet Earth. Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, 8 o'clock, night game against the Chiefs. There's no way. There's no way that we continue to get the Chiefs on these night games. Like, why do they always... The Giants are projected to win 5 games, yet they're putting us on prime time just because they know Giants fans are just that obsessed with their team. So I'm gonna give us a loss there because it's the Chiefs, Mahomes, all those guys. That's just a tough win. But maybe this is a season where the Chiefs start off really slow and we can still win. But for now, I'm going to give us the loss in week 3. So week 4 against the Chargers, I'm going to give us a loss there because it's going at it's actually a home game, but still the Chargers are a tough out. I could see us maybe winning that game. But again, just because of the coaching, Justin Herbert, you put that coach and that quarterback against our coach and our quarterback, they win in both matches. So week 4, that's wrapped up. Now let's go to week 5 against the Saints. Now, hopefully by this time, Tyler Shuck hasn't hit some kind of stride and it isn't looking like the rookie of the year, because if not, we're going to beat the Saints. And that gives us 3-2 to start off. Like, that is like a dream scenario. 3-2 to start off. Then you take a look at the Eagles. Now, this is a home game. Against the Eagles, and still doesn't really make me that excited. The Eagles are just so physical of a team. I think the Giants will give them a real game, because I do think the Giants have gotten better, but I think this will be a loss because the Eagles always beat us in our stadium. They always beat us every time we play. Broncos next week. I think the Broncos are going to take a little step back. Now, Sean Payton is there. Bo Nix is playing really well from last year, but I'm going to give us a win. There. So we'll start off at, what are we at? 4 wins, 3 losses, 4-3. If we're 4-3 at this point, I'm celebrating. And mind you, this is before we've seen any football, before we know about any injuries, before we know about any of this stuff. Moving on to the Eagles part 2. Is it the Eagles part 2? No. Eagles part 2. Eagles part two. So we play the Eagles within 2 weeks of each other. There are 4 division games. 4 of our 6 division games are in the first 8 weeks. So if we are going to be a team that tries to get into the playoffs, and especially doing it through the division, we're going to have to start very fast because 4 of our division games are in the first 8 weeks. So you got the Eagles part two. And I'm going to say the Giants they learned from what they did against the Eagles the first time. And this time they pull out a win. Let's just say they pull out a win. Okay. That's 5-3. And this team is flying high and a crazy schedule. Crazy schedule. But then you got the 49ers. And again, I just see the 49ers as being such a physical team, such just a well-coached team. It's just those Harbaughs, the Shanahans, they just are really, really tough teams to beat. And they are much less likely to have a lapse. Like the Eagles, even the Chiefs would have a lapse before a lot of these other teams. So because of that, I'm giving us a loss against the 49ers. That puts us at 5-4. Then we play the Bears. Now, Caleb Williams is either going to be looking like a superstar or he's going to be looking like a bad quarterback or, still a growing quarterback. But the Bears, they have made a lot of great moves this offseason, and they're looked at as one of the easier teams on our schedule. But I'm going to say that Caleb Williams takes a step up. He's got some more weapons. He's got a better defense, and I'm going to give us a loss right there. So right now we started off 5-3. Right now we are 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5-5, 500 after 10 games. So by this logic, Jackson Dart is not even thinking about being out there. Maybe you dropped a couple, so maybe they're starting to think about it, but you're 500 there. Then you got the Packers. That's another loss. That's just another loss. I mean, McKinney out there roving his revenge game. That's another loss. So you're 5-6. And then you got the Pats. Again, is Drake May going to be a game changer? Are the Pats going to still be a bad team? I'm going to still say that the Pats have some more work to do, and I'm going to give us a win there. So that puts us at 6-6, so 500 still. And then you got the bye week. So if you're 6-6 going into this bye week, which is I skipped a week. We're gonna get rid of that W right there because we play the Lions actually week 12, and that Lions game is a loss. So that is 5-6, or let's see, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5-7. 5-7. Okay, 5-7 through 12 weeks. Then the Pats, I gave us a win. So then we'll be 6-7 through 13 weeks with the Commanders, Vikings, Raiders, and Cowboys. Now, I believe that this team, if they're 6-7 at this point, has the potential to run the table. If that happens, then again, Dart will not be playing. Commanders out there, I'm gonna say they come out of the bye week and they drop it to the Commanders. It's late in the season. It's tough. You're playing against Jaden Daniels. He's just a better quarterback. So you drop a game to the Commanders. You're 6-8. You're not feeling that good about yourself. Then you beat the Vikings. And then against the Raiders, you beat the Raiders. So at this point, you are 8-8 with one game to go in the season against the Cowboys. And do we sweep the Cowboys? I don't know. Do we sweep the Cowboys? I'll let you all decide. Because if I'm picking it, I think we can sweep the Cowboys. I think we have the talent to. But do I see it happening? Do I see us sweeping any team in this division? No. I have us going 3-3 in the division, and we go 8-9. So this is just my initial thoughts. This is, again, no teams have played. We don't know the final 53. We don't know. So I have us at 8-9, and this is an incredibly optimistic view on this. Now, let me look at my green screen. Maybe I can point to some of this stuff, and I'm going to be off screen. Either way, a lot of these games we could very well drop. Like I gave us a win against the Commanders and Cowboys. We could very well lose those games. We're going to probably lose the Chiefs and the Chargers games. So that is going to be really difficult. We could very well start off 0-4, which would throw a wrench into everything. The Saints game is, you're thinking that's probably the easiest game on the schedule because the Saints don't necessarily have a super team, and they have a rookie that's probably going to be starting. I gave us a win against the Broncos. You never know what will happen with that. I gave us one win against the Eagles. So, a lot of these games could very well go a different way. And I have us with a really good season because it's a very tough schedule. I have us with a really good season, winning 8 games, going 8-9. So some things that stood out to me. The travel isn't too bad as far as like West Coast to East Coast and back and forth. You don't really have to deal with the travel. I mean, you go over to the Raiders, but besides that, the 49ers are at home. The Broncos you head over to, but that's not too bad because you got the Eagles, the Broncos, and the Eagles in between it. So you're going to spend a lot of time in New Jersey because you're just going right down the road to the Eagles. So the scheduling as far as the logistics is not bad, and I'm happy about that. Now looking at the times of these games, if we're going to win some games, as an underachieving team, in the past, and we're not ready for the moment, this will be the year because we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then we have a couple of games that are undecided. But so far, there's 11 1 o'clock games, only one 4 o'clock game, and you have, let's see, 2 primetime games, 2 8 o'clock games so far. So a lot of these games are like when nobody's watching. No pressure, easy stuff. If the rookie does end up out there, there's no pressure. So that is something that makes me happy. Not a ton of 4 o'clock games, bunch of 1 o'clock games. So that is cool. But let's keep it real. There's no real easy stretch in this schedule at all. I mean, the easiest stretch you can look at is the last 4 games, which are going against the Commanders, who are the NFC Championship, the Vikings, who could very well not take a step back at all with JJ McCarthy, the Raiders, who they have Geno Smith now, so they're not a pushover, and then you got the Cowboys, who again could be a team that falls off and just isn't very good, or could be a team that's fighting to be in the playoffs. So that's your easiest stretch because Bears, Packers, Lions, all could be really good teams in a row. You play them 3 games in a row. Before that, you have the 49ers, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles. You got the 49ers, Eagles, Broncos, Eagles. Those are 4 games that you could not, if you're not on your A game, you could get blown out in all of those games. There are no real easy stretches in these games. So that's something that stood out to me. And then you got those 4 division games, as I said, in 8 weeks. And again, if you drop these division games early, it's going to be really difficult to compete in a division if that's open at the end of the year. And then if things do go haywire, where would Jackson Dart start? Now, if we start off 0-4, maybe Jackson Dart does go out there against the Saints. But then you got the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, 49ers. So do we really want him going out there at that point? Like, those defenses are no joke. Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, 49ers. I would want it to just avoid those defenses altogether. And if I was going to put them out there, the first chance I would to put them out there will be the Bears. Now, the Bears, they're not a complete pushover on defense, but they're a lot more palatable to go against than that gauntlet of the Eagles, Broncos, Eagles, 49ers. Then you'd have the Packers up next. Not a pushover. The Lions are not a pushover, but the Patriots. And you kind of have some things where the defenses aren't smothering against you. Week 13 is another opportunity. He could come out against the Patriots. That could be possible. Then he have the bye week to kind of review what he did wrong, and then come out against the Commanders, who again aren't necessarily a suffocating defense. The Vikings are crazy, but Pats and Commanders are nice defenses to come out against for a rookie who's set for a while, and you got the bye week in between those two. And then probably another opportunity would be week 15. So just start off against the Commanders out of the bye week. But those are my 3 ideal weeks if the season just goes out of hand. Is weeks 10 against the Bears, week 13 against the Pats, and week 15 against the Commanders. That's where I'm looking at. So those are my thoughts on the schedule. A couple of other thoughts about how we could integrate Jackson Dart into the lineup. I'm hoping it's a lot later rather than sooner. But listen, folks, if we go out and this defensive line plays like how they can play, and we utilize Malik Neighbors and we utilize those 2 running backs and the tight ends we have, And, Slayton, who's very underrated, who's played with nothing at quarterback. If we utilize this team the way it's supposed to be utilized, we could very well compete in a bunch of these games. We can steal some games that we shouldn't win. And, like I said, being very optimistic, I have us at 8 and 9. Realistically, that spread of 5.5 is very, very, that's pretty much on par, because the Giants could take a huge step forward and still lose a ton of these games because they are playing an absolute gauntlet. The division is just too good. And then we're playing the AFC West and the NFC North. That's just too much. So those are my thoughts. You all let me know what you're thinking for the Giants for this year. Really early. This is all fun at this point because we don't know who's going to even be playing in these games, barring injuries and everything else. So again, you all let me know what you're thinking down in the comments.